Now, to the right. Commander Barley calls smoke on. Off brakes now. Burners ready now. And the Blue Angel Diamond is rolling. As they pass before you, you will notice that the smoke is not visible while the engines are in afterburner. Passing 90 degrees nose up. The smoke comes on as Commander Barley calls for the deselection of afterburner by the 4 Diamond pilots. Lieutenant Commander Mark will complete the dirty roll on takeoff, while Major Anderson executes a very precise low transition. Let's watch as Major Anderson pulls back on the stick to 6 times the pull of gravity. Pointed vertically, he climbs to an altitude of 4,000 feet and rolls his aircraft 180 degrees onto his back. Pulling through the inverted, he completes the split S on takeoff and will exit the flight line to the right. They will give you an opportunity to take a close look at that very minimum 18-inch wingtip to canopy separation that exists between these 4 aircraft. From the right, the Blue Angel Diamond. And Major Anderson are approaching to demonstrate the knife edge pass. our two solo pilots are approaching once again to demonstrate the inverted flight capabilities of the FA-18. Approaching center point in the inverted position. They'll roll the aircraft 360 degrees, crossing over center point. The opposing inverted to inverted roll. The Diamond aileron roll. Approaching center point on signal from Commander Bartlett. All four pilots will roll their aircraft 360 degrees simultaneously. The very precise Diamond aileron roll. Let's listen in.
Easing a little power. Moving off. Get out the head, please.
A mirror image formation. But look closely, for both aircraft are in the carrier landing configuration. As they approach for a maneuver we call the Fortis. Demonstrated by no other jet performance team in the world today. From the left, at less than 250 miles per hour, the Diamond Dirty Loop. To the left, Lieutenant Commander Martin is approaching to demonstrate the turn radius of the FA-18. Let's watch as he executes a maximum performance, minimum radius afterburner turn, sustaining 7.5 times the pull of gravity. From behind the spectator area, Blue Angels 5 and 6 are approaching the flight line in a line abreast formation at 400 miles per hour. Passing center point, they'll roll their aircraft 270 degrees and cross with minimum separation as they commence the opposing minimum radius turn. Now, let's watch as both pilots sustain 6 times the pull of gravity required to cross their aircraft over center point. Down and aft on a 45-degree bearing line to establish a right echelon formation. From the right, at 350 miles per hour, the Blue Angel Echelon Parade. Setting up for their next maneuver, Blue Angels 5 and 6 are converging on center point to demonstrate the rapid roll rate of the F-18's fly-by-wire flight control system. Crossing center point, they'll complete 2 consecutive rolls, totaling 720 degrees with a closure rate of over 800 miles per hour. The opposing horizontal rolls. Let's listen in.
Smoke on. That's Orville and Wilbur, envision this.
To the left, the 4 Diamond pilots have established a left echelon formation. Approaching center point, Commander Barlow will roll a formation 360 degrees into the 3 wingmen. During this extremely difficult maneuver, Lieutenant Commander Darren on the outpost position will experience 4 times the roll rate generated by Commander Barlow's aircraft. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Angel left echelon roll. Completing the roll to the right. Let's watch as the 3 wingmen smoothly shift back into the Blue Angel Diamond.
Here he is.
Now, the Blue Angels 5 and 6 in your attention. You have seen firsthand the ability of a tactical aircraft at high speed to sink into a target area partially undetected. Major Anderson will complete the maneuver with a series of vertical rolls, while Lieutenant Commander Martin rendezvous with the Diamond to the right. Must now align themselves by looking 90 degrees from their flight path towards Commander Bartlett's aircraft. Experiencing heavy G, they'll climb straight up into the vertical as they perform the very difficult 5-plane line abreast loop. over the top at an altitude of 7,000 feet. The power is eased as the aircraft round out the backside of this looping maneuver. As they exit to the left, Commander Bartlett has called for another formation change prior to detaching Blue Angel number 5. Degrees, pausing after each 90 degrees of roll, crossing center point in the inverted position. The opposing 4-point hesitation roll. Behind the crowd, the 4 Diamond pods are rolling out in trail formation for a dynamic separation maneuver. Crossing center point, they'll climb straight up into the vertical as they perform the very difficult
what?
Reaching 90 degrees nose up, the Diamond will split as they perform the vertical brake. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Angel, vertical brake. Lieutenant Commander Martin and Major Anderson are approaching to demonstrate the tactical pitch rate of the FA-18. Crossing center point, they'll execute a maximum performance climb with a split S reversal. Pulling through the inverted, they have visually acquired each other and are converging to crossover center point with minimum separation. Diamond pods are setting up for one of the more difficult and dynamic rolling maneuvers, the tuck under brake. Approaching center point in left echelon formation. Each pilot will roll his aircraft 270 degrees in ripple fashion, take separation, and rejoin Commander Bartlett in the diamond formation. right, Lieutenant Commander Martin and Major Anderson are approaching to demonstrate the slow speed handling characteristics of the Hornet in a clean configuration. They will pass before you, virtually standing Blue Angels 5 and 6 on their tails. At less than 120 miles per hour, the state-of-the-art flight controls provide slow speed handling second to none. Crossing center point, both pilots will select full afterburner, commanding 32,000 pounds of thrust to demonstrate the additional climb and acceleration capabilities of the FA-18. From the right, the section High Alpha Pass. In front of the crowd to the right, Commander Bartlett has rolled out the Diamond for their next maneuver, the barrel roll break. Pulling into the vertical, he'll roll in formation 90 degrees and commence the looping maneuver. Rounding out the backside, each pilot will perform an individual brake turn, exiting the flight line in a separate direction. The very graceful barrel roll break. Woo! Are making their approach to the flight line, but in a slightly different formation. If you look closely, you'll see that both aircraft are upside down. Approaching center point, they'll roll their aircraft 270 degrees in section. The double tug-over roll. Platform view of the Blue Angel Delta formation. As they exit to the left, Commander Bartlett has elected to leave the smoke on so that we may watch how he brings the formation back to the flight line. Very shortly, all 6 aircraft will be approaching for the Blue Angel fleur-de-lis. In an aerial salute to 100 years of powered flight, All 6 aircraft will separate, perform individual 360-degree rolls, and the 4 Diamond pilots will rendezvous through a looping maneuver. From the left, at 450 miles per hour, the Blue Angel fleur-de-lis. Let's listen in.
Up we go. Smoke off. Ready? Go. Spin.
Pilot takes it to the right. The 3 wingmen are in the final stages of their rendezvous and will soon be back on the wings of Commander Bartlett in Blue Angel number 1. With the fleur-de-lis rendezvous complete, the Diamond will pass before you and exit the flight line to the right.
I was trying to zoom out a little so I could get everybody in.
High and to the right, our 2 solo pilots are rejoining the Diamond for another Delta maneuver. As they rendezvous, let's watch as Commander Bartlett executes a reversal turn back out on the flight line for their next maneuver, the Delta Loop Break. As the formation passes before you, you should get a good look at the Delta set used by the 5 wingmen. Tilts his head back, picking up the flight line here at Dayton International. Over the top, he's floating the formation to place them directly over center point. Now, watch closely as Commander Bartlett calls smoke on, ready break. Aircraft at 500 miles per hour and execute a 1/2 Cuban reversal turn back towards the flight line. As they pull up and over the top, you should be able to follow the individual smoke trails as all 6 pilots simultaneously roll their aircraft 180 degrees and head back towards center point. Now, watch this next maneuver carefully. From 6 different directions, with maximum speed and minimum separation, they'll converge and cross over center point with a combined closure rate of nearly 1,000 miles per hour. Spanning 92 years of naval aviation. The 2003 team takes a great deal of pride in saluting Navy and Marine pilots, maintenance crews, and support personnel everywhere.
There you go.
From the left, the Blue Angels 2003. One of the unique demands placed upon a naval aviator is that he be able to land his aircraft upon a ship at sea, whether it be a tactical jet, a propeller-driven aircraft, or one of our helicopters. Each requires skill, which the naval aviator must master. In order to perfect this skill, Navy and Marine pilots spend a great deal of time in the landing pattern practicing carrier approaches. Very shortly, Commander Bartlett and all the demonstration pilots will be performing a carrier approach. Approaching the runway from the left, Commander Bartlett is confirming that the landing checks have been completed, and in fact, each aircraft is ready to land. Rolling out on final, they'll make one last check of the crosswinds, one last line of correction, and adjust their power to maintain the optimum rate of descent for the proper touchdown point. The 6 demonstration pilots you've been watching perform here this afternoon are but a small part of the Blue Angel team.